I'm going to try and keep this really short. I'm going to fly through this album. So here's the Spain album that I just finished. I wanted to do a real quick flip through. We went to Spain in July of 2019, and it's been about a year and a few months later, and I finally got it finished. I haven't been working on it as often as I should have been, so that's why it took so long. But yeah, I'm got this album. It's 12 by 12 size, and it was like $5 at Michael's. So I thought it would go well with our adventure. So let me go ahead and flip through real quickly. Cover page. We have a little thing about why we were going to Spain and stuff like that. Here's the page of us going from the Bay Area to Madrid, and I got this little passport book and just put little fun stickers in it to flip through. Map of fun little map shows where in Spain we went in relation to the rest of the country. A hotel we stayed at, metro maps, things like that. Here's a picture of Mike at the place he was doing his presentation. That's the reason we went to Spain. He had written a paper and was going to do a presentation at a conference at the Catalan Institute. And so here he is at the front of the place. This is the place that he did it at. Here's his little name placard on his little presentation stand. Here's Gabe enjoying some churros con chocolate. We went and saw the Christopher Columbus statue. It's on the one end of the La Rambla. And then we went further up the La Rambla, which is basically like a big walking promenade area. And we enjoyed that. And then while we were on the La Rambla, we had some tapas. Here, I'm going to take this out from under here. It's driving me nuts. While we were on the La Rambla, we stopped and had some tapas. If you know anything about us, we like food, and so you're going to find lots of pictures of food in this book. So here we are enjoying tapas. The streets are very windy and narrow and really fascinating and interesting to look at. Sometimes you could get lost there. They just seem to go on. The streets just seem to go on forever and ever. While we were wandering around, we found a place called Karam, and they do a lot of handmade items like these lights and plates and scarves and all sorts of handmade stuff. And we bought a few things there. I wanted to bring home this lamp, but one, it costs a lot of money, and two, I didn't know how to get it home without having to pay a lot of money for it or having it break. So they're really good. I follow them on Instagram and see all their stuff they make. Mike and Gabe went to visit the Plaza del Rey, a history museum and archaeological site. I've been to this one before, but Mike and Gabe went on their own this time to see that. It was really cool. Here's the Maritime Museum we went to. Mike's conference was about transportation and boating and things like that during the movement and mobility in the medieval Mediterranean. So we figured it was good to go to the Maritime Museum and see these replicas of these boats, and you could actually go up on them and see them and everything. So we went and saw that. We went to the teleferic from near our hotel. We went up the mountain to Montjuic Castle, which is a huge castle that has the moat and everything, and has good views of the cities around it, played in doorways and things like that. I'm sorry I'm doing this too quickly and everything. I'm not explaining, but I got to get this video short. McDonald's and the fare that we had at McDonald's, the things that they had there that are different than in the United States. McDonald's is great because they always have a place to sit, food that's sort of similar to what you're used to, Wi-Fi and restrooms, and they don't hassle you about leaving. So we stopped at McDonald's quite frequently to use Wi-Fi and relax in the air conditioning. Here's Plaza Catalonia. It's a good meeting place when we had to meet up with Mike. This is Corte Inglés. It's basically like an American shopping mall, different floors with different departments. We would go and wander around and look around there. We loved the cafeteria-style food they had there, and they have a good view out the windows that you could see the whole city, and had air conditioning and Wi-Fi, so it was a lot of fun. Sometimes when it would get really hot, we would just go and enjoy Corte Inglés. Gabe and I went to the Wax Museum, and they had a lot of Spanish figures there, and we thought it was really cheesy but fun. They also have on the La Rambla an erotic museum, but we figured that wouldn't be appropriate for a 16-year-old, so we went to the Wax Museum instead. Well, so Gabe and I went to the Barcelona Aquarium. I didn't take a lot of pictures here because I was just having so much fun hanging out with the kid and didn't get a lot of pictures, just enjoying the day. But they had these little koi that would eat out of a bottle. I thought that was cool. Well, Mike, Gabe, and I also went to the Chocolate Museum. You buy this candy bar, and that is your ticket to get into the door. And it has all these displays that are done in chocolate and tells you the history of chocolate in Spain. And this is a little restaurant down the street from our hotel, and we got tapas there. First time we've ever had razor clams. They were delicious. And Gabe discovered that he likes calamari. So to this day, he still requests calamari even here at home. One day, the three of us went out looking for the Picasso Museum, and like I said, the streets are really narrow and foreign to us, so we got a little lost, but it started raining. We stopped in and got an umbrella at a pharmacy, and eventually we found the Picasso Museum, and it was amazing. Near our hotel, there's a restaurant called Elche, and it's a very fancy little dining establishment, restaurant bar. Mike had read about it in a travel magazine, and so we went and tried it out, and of course we tried their paella, and it was delicious. Totally recommend it. We also went off the La Rambla. There's a place called La Boqueria, which is an open-air market, and it is a foodie paradise for sure. They have all sorts of the hanging serrano, jamon serrano, the Spanish hands, and cheeses and things. And so we introduced Gabe to the joys of jamon serrano and Spanish cheese. Next time we go to Spain, Mike and I want to get an Airbnb so we can get a kitchen, because we would love to go to the Boqueria and just buy all this seafood and food and just take it home and cook it up. Like I said, a foodie paradise for sure. We went to the Gothic Cathedral. Mike and I had been to the Gothic Cathedral before, so we wanted to make sure to take Gabe. And it's just a gorgeous view. I mean, look at all the different architecture on there, and it's really beautiful. I stayed inside and took pictures of the inside while Mike and Gabe went up top to the roof area where you can get views of the city and the spires there. And then we went down into the cloister area and checked out the architecture and the beauty down there as well. We went to Mount Juic Magic Fountain Show, and basically during the summer they have these light and water shows set to music that you can come and watch, and tons of people, but it was a really, really fun show. We went to see the Arc de Triomphe, which I guess is Spain's version that was set up in Spain, and they walked around the gardens and stuff around it and the little walking area and just enjoyed the day. We went to the Sagrada Familia. Mike and I had been to the Sagrada Familia and been inside once before when we were in Spain, but we didn't think ahead this time and get tickets, so we were not able to go into the Sagrada, but there's still plenty to see on the outside. Next time, though, for sure, we're going to take Gabe to go inside. We took the teleferic from Montjuic, and we took it down to the La Playa, the beach area, down to the beach area, and here we are in the teleferic looking out at the views, trying to get Gabe to smile. Finally had to make him. And there was a couple of tourists on the teleferic with us because the thing steeps down, it goes down pretty low, and they were joking around and saying, "Oh no, we're going to crash. We're going too fast," and joking around. We just thought that was pretty funny. But you'd get good views from the teleferic, and we went right over a cruise ship, and the people down there looked like little ants. It was a lot of fun. Then we got off the teleferic and went down to the Mediterranean, and we dipped our toes in the water. We didn't want to get all the way in because we were meeting some friends for dinner, but here's some pictures of us dipping our toes in the Mediterranean. While we were there, Gabe would wear his earbuds a lot and listen to his music, and we kept having to yell, "Gabe, yo, Gabe," to get his attention all the time, and so we caught him at a moment here when he realized that we were trying to talk to him and he didn't know. So he learned how to listen with one earbud so that he could keep track of what we were saying. Then we got a rickshaw to go to the restaurant. We got two of them, and we were racing in the rickshaws to the restaurant that we were going to. and they were zipping in and out through pedestrian traffic and up and over curbs and racing each other. It was a lot of fun. Along the way, we saw this place where you could rent or test drive sports cars, and I'm sure that Gabe wanted to do that, but didn't have time. We were in rickshaw instead. So we took the rickshaw to our restaurant. We got there, and they started arguing with us about the price that they had told us at the beginning for the cost of the rickshaw, but we were in a hurry to get to our meeting with our friends for dinner. So we just paid them and went into our dinner. We met our friend Dale and Valerie that we knew from BYU, our BYU days, and we met with them again. It's been like 17, 18 years possibly, maybe even longer that we've seen them. But we went to this restaurant here, and it is designed like a ship inside, and it has portholes and shiplap and things like that. But it's a really fancy restaurant with all these fun white tablecloths and nice, open air kitchen and tanks full of fish and things that you could pick out to eat. And here's Gabe. We thought this was a funny picture of Gabe trying to eat shrimp here. Thought it would be silly to take that picture. And then we ordered for the whole table, the 5 of us, this huge plate that took up most of the table, full of all this fish and seafood and things, and we ate that. Had the lovely dessert. It was a really good restaurant. I'd highly recommend this restaurant if you go to Barcelona. And then we had our last meal a couple of days later, and we sat and reminisced about the things we went and saw and things we did, and if we'd like to come back and where we'd want to go and things like that again. And I really like this picture of me and Gabe. And then we left Spain to make our way home. And I like to joke around. This is the day that Gabe almost became an orphan because Mike and I were going to go a little postal. Because the lines there were crazy. It was really hot and humid. And we were so fed up by having to go through this huge long line just to get out of the country. It's like the country didn't want us to leave or something. So here's a picture of us in Philly, enjoying the massage chairs and enjoying the air conditioning and the smaller crowds. It was really nice compared to having to get out of Spain. And then here are a bunch of odd things that I found in Spain that I didn't know where else to put in the album, but I wanted to make sure to keep. Like they don't have Dr. Pepper in Spain. I never found any of it while we were there, and they don't like ice in their beverages. This is a picture in Philly when I got my first Dr. Pepper in a while. So also they have this bread that they serve in Spain, and it's just basically a crusty French loaf. I'm assuming like a crusty French loaf, rustic bread type thing, and they like to take raw tomato and rub it all over the bread, and they serve it with everything. And Gabe and I are not a fan of tomatoes, and so we would call this barf toast. And they'd serve it with everything, and we'd always take our barf toast off our plate and give it to Mike to eat because Mike liked it. And then the first time I've ever seen a porta-john, not like that's a big deal, but it's just amazing. I'd never seen one before, and they were everywhere down there for all the tourists and things. So anyway, that's our album, and ready to go on to our next adventure in Spain. We would like to go to Madrid sometime, so hopefully I'll be able to add on to this album or start a new album. But anyway, that's the album. Hopefully this video was nice and short. If you have any questions, just let me know.